Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this new segment of Face to Face. Today we'll be discussing these violent campaigns in Uganda. These violent campaigns that started with very violent treatment of opposition candidates in Uganda, and we'll be decoding that with Bashil Kambale. Bashil, welcome to Mwetu TV.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. How you doing?
I'm fine, good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Okay, so just like I always tell you, this time you take a drink, a coffee, a juice, water, whatever you like drinking, put it aside and watch this segment of Face to Face while relaxing. So Bashil, we recently talked about this election in Uganda that started with violence.
Yes, please.
And has ended with violence.
Yeah.
Now, with only a few hours before, millions of Ugandans go and vote. How much people do you think are actually going to show up to vote after all this violence?
Recently, there are some statistics that came out about 18 million youth will show up.
Wow.
And about 10 million people, the elderly people who qualify, who are of age of about 45 and above,
Have signed up to vote.
Yeah, have signed up. So we are expecting about 32 million group of Ugandans who are showing up tomorrow for vote. Yeah.
Wow, now these elections have been really violent, especially for the opposition leaders. So let's take a look at what Robert Kyagulanyi or Bobby Wine had to say about the violence and what him and his team have gone through. Not just his team, his supporters too have gone throughout this way to this election which they'll be voting for.
It was an effort to secure my life some more. That is after I survived gun attacks more than once, more than twice. I was targeted. My car was riddled with bullets, flattening all tires, and on one occasion, the military shot into the windscreen of my car. Miraculously, I was still alive and nobody was shot dead in my car. However, many of my close allies have been shot dead. I've been targeted by tear gas canisters and live bullets. Every single person that I've been moving with on the campaign trail has been hit. From producer Dan Magic was hit by the tear gas canisters hitting his face, to my close ally and the singing partner Nubian Lee was shot on the head, to my personal security who was targeted and shot on the eye, and a few days ago my close journalist who was covering the events around me in the campaign trail was shot directly in the head, smashing his skull, and part of his brain was exposed. So wearing a ballistic helmet and a bulletproof vest is an effort to secure my life. The election is being stolen and rigged, not will be, by the mere fact that I was arrested on the day of nomination, that I've been blocked from campaigns, that my posters are not allowed to be there, that I'm not allowed to have any billboards, that I'm blocked from radio and TV stations, that I'm a candidate, a presidential candidate who is not allowed to drive on main roads or even to address people in towns. That's a rig. By the mere fact that the Electoral Commission has come out to block me, just me, from campaigning in more than 30 districts. And indeed, the Electoral Commission said I must sign a memorandum of understanding with them before they can allow me to proceed campaigning, while everybody else is campaigning.
Okay, so in the beginning, when Robert Kyagulanyi started campaigning, he used to go and campaign normally, even though they used to block him here and there. But then later on, he started wearing a ballistic helmet and a bulletproof vest to protect himself, because he just, like he mentioned, he has been attacked many times. He has just sick because he's living miraculously. He said many of his entourage some have died, some imprisoned, some injured. I've seen violent treatment of opposition leaders, but this one is on a different level. How do you explain this courage that this guy has?
Well, as we all know,
and just not to interrupt you, just your reaction on
My
this
reaction
video?
is, it's always the characters of all dictators. They always behave the same way. So usually, someone who has been in power for over 35 years, there is a possibility of him turning into a dictatorship, because he thinks he's gonna do everything on his own. He thinks he's gonna be the decision making of the country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So usually, when a strong opposition comes out and is a younger man, dictators, they don't think there's someone who will come out and oppose them. That's why, so he's doing all this to scare people, to intimidate them, not to support Bobby Wine, because if they support him, they will have to do something wrong to them. So to secure the future, they shouldn't support Robert Kyagulanyi. So it's a kind of intimidation of Kyagulanyi and his supporters. That's all I say.
Well, so why do you think though he is this courageous? I mean, they shot through his car. I mean, when I saw that car out, they did the tires, the car out, the car was shot. I'm like, these guys survived all this. How do you explain his courage? Is it just the love for Uganda, for the people? How do you explain his courage?
One thing I know about him, he's a patriotic man. And he is someone who never gives up on something. Whenever he sees something wrong, he has to stay in the lane of the truth. The fact is, the wrong is wrong.
Wrong is wrong for you.
So, usually, and something he's doing this to expose dictator Museveni, because Museveni always exposes himself outside on the international scene,
as if
that he is good, he is a
democratic leader.
he's a democratic leader. But now he is exposing Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's ways of acting towards Ugandan. So his courage, his patriotism, and the support the Ugandans have to this younger man is the one that is giving him courage. No matter what President Museveni is doing, so he's still encouraged by the supporters. They still say, we are together, people power, our power. That's all. Yes.
Wow. Now, after all this, we've seen how aggressive they've been with him and other candidates, but especially him, because he's
he's
the biggest of the all candidates.
Yeah.
I mean, opposition candidates. How much chance do you think he stands to win these elections? I mean, we know dictators control everything. They control justice system. They control the electoral commission.
Yeah.
How much chance do you think he stands to win these elections?
Well, just like you said, dictators, they be controlling they have powers over everything. They even do something that is against the constitution of the country. But usually, recently, some national TVs came out and had to make some opinion polls, and they were saying Yoweri Museveni has 53% to win this vote, and Kyagulanyi has 18% to win this. The rest are below that. But the reaction from different opposition leaders, they know this is the national TV, which is controlled by the government, of the President Museveni.
Yeah, nothing is going to come.
If they come out and speak the truth, something wrong may happen to them.
They can't.
So the whole point is that President Museveni is controlling the country by inciting violence to them, by intimidating them, and everyone is fearing. Even whoever is working in the government today, he does something wrong because he knows or she knows someone is behind and is going to do something wrong. If he does something wrong, he is in trouble. He can either be expelled from work, he can either be detained without trials. He can anything may happen to him because every kind of violence is happening. Today in Kampala, I'm still talking about the intimidation. Right now, Kampala, there is no police. The whole city, every big city is now militarized, like you said. The military is moving around with all the military weapons, these big weapons, as if they are getting ready for the war. So recently, there is a stunt that they played. One of the ministers, I don't know which department of the ministry, was shot, and they're saying they want to claim that Kampala has been attacked by the rebels. That's why they have all the military around. But it's just a political stunt.
Okay.
Right.
Wow. Well, now, Yoweri Museveni is a former rebel, right?
Yes.
So you should expect that from him. He has to use the military all the time in fear of trying to conserve his power. That's why he has
Look,
to
the
scale
world
it.
is changing. The world is changing. Okay, during during his time, there was a military corps, rebels. In order to make a peaceful, transition of the government,
It's hard.
there should be violence. You should become a rebel in order to overthrow the government.
Yeah, that has happened repeatedly in many countries.
So every
in Africa.
country, but today everything's modernizing.
You see, it's hard to.
We are copying out with the Western culture of changing democracy. So if he thinks what happened to him, what he did in the last 35 years is going to happen right now, Bobby Wine has no camera. He doesn't know even how to shoot. He has never handled any gun.
Yeah, he seems to be a
So,
peaceful guy.
So he just need a peaceful transition of power.
Non-violent.
Non-violence. We need to change the power. We need to have different leaders. We need to follow our constitution. We need to return back our former constitution that Museveni has changed. That's what he needs. Everything has been messed up.
Yeah.
Everything Museveni has taken all the power, but Bobby Wine is saying the power belongs to the people. You can't take everything from you. We need justice.
Yeah.
The injustice is coming out. You're controlling the court. You're controlling
Everything. Judges.
the electoral commission. You're controlling the judges. You're controlling the parliament. You're controlling the local governments. Everything is you. No. We need some to be shared by the people. If you want to be a president, just control the army and be the commander in chief and do other stuff that the constitution wants you to do. That's all. That's what is hurting the
And even by
citizen now.
even by controlling the army and the police forces, is it not to control it in a way of commanding, but not commanding while breaking the law, like how opposition supporters have faced violence from the police, brutality from the police? That's what I'm saying. Is it not how he's supposed to do it, rather than how they're doing it now?
The constitution says the president is supposed to be the commander-in-chief of the army.
True, but I'm not saying not even violence as how they.
Yes, and before he does anything, what the constitution says, you must ask the parliament. It should give you permission to do something. Don't just bring your arm. So that's what he is doing, something which is irrelevant to the constitution, because when you bring the arms and all the army military with strong weapons, without permission from the constitution, from the parliament, it means you're breaking the law. The constitution doesn't tell you to do something on your own. It tells you you will have to seek permission from the parliament. But he does everything on his own. That's one of the weaknesses. Bobby Wine is exposing him everywhere to the international scene. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Robert Museveni.
Robert
Sentamu Kyagulanyi, he's in his 30s, so he's still young.
Yeah.
So I think us, especially Africans, we like saying politics ni vya bababo. We like saying politics is for old people.
Yeah.
So before we continue, what do you think politics is for old people? Because when these people make these decisions, we the young ones are the ones that get affected the most, right? Like they say, even if you don't follow politics, if any decision they make, it impacts you in one way or the other. So do you also feel like politics for old people? Or do you also feel like young people, every young person has to watch politics and see what politicians are doing?
Yeah. Basically, I can say that's 100% correct. Everyone must get involved in a political stuff, political affiliation that is happening in his country. So this is why Kyagulanyi came up and waking up the youth. Initially, the youth in Uganda could not mind about voting, but when Kyagulanyi came out with giving them a message, to waken them up. And in fact, since Uganda started up electing, this is the first election whereby the biggest number of the youth have turned up and have showed up to vote. So that means there is a big contribution. So I would recommend that everyone, whoever belongs to that country, should get involved in politics and know how his country works. We have problem in Africa. I think some countries in Africa maybe. Most people don't know about the constitution of their country. Unlike these other developed countries, they know everything about what the constitution says.
Yeah.
So whatever he does, he knows it is constitutional. So if Africans, they do some stuff, they get scared of doing some stuff, they think the president he has to control everything. So if they get involved in politics, learning about their country, so they will know more, and at least there will be implementation of some laws.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I think in Africa we treat our leaders as if
they're bosses,
they're
kings,
well, they're supposed to be our servants.
Come on, that's what Bobby Wine says. If you vote him for president, he's not going to be your boss. He's going to be a manager controlling the resources of the country. That's what he says.
Servicing the people.
Yeah, he has to give you services because you people, you are the boss, and the power belongs to you guys.
Yeah, I think we forget that when you vote, we are actually hiring them. When we vote for you, we are actually hiring you to work for us.
That's why there's interviews whenever you do. So they have nominations.
Yeah.
You have to speak out your manifesto to the people what you're going to do.
Campaign.
Before you get approved. So these people will decide. They will say, we have approved him.
Yeah.
Or we have approved this one or the other. But the dictators, they want to stay in the power, deciding different things. With time, if Museveni continues being a president, don't be surprised that voting is not going to be legalized in Uganda with time. If he keeps on being a president, he will change the constitution.
Okay, now I watched an interview of Museveni. I just forgot the channel's name. He says Bobby Wine is being manipulated by some Western people, and so he's saying it's not just him, just somebody who is being manipulated somewhere. What do you think?
First of all, when Museveni came to power, he also had to seek support from Western people.
Yeah, because he would wonder, where did he get the gun from? Where did he get everything from?
Yeah, so, and for him, he was more violent because he had the guns, he had to attack the local people, he had to do everything. So, if Bobby Wine is getting, support, what Museveni says, he says, Bobby Wine is exposing or promoting Western interest in Uganda, including homosexuality or gayism or lesbianism. But that is not true. He is just looking for excuses on how we will expose Bobby Wine negatively. So if we get anyway, we are looking recently. Bobby Wine had to report Museveni to ICC.
Yeah, I think
Did you see that? You watched that?
Yeah.
So he says because he has killed so many people. You remember what happened? The strike recently, the strike that happened.
When
Bobby Wine,
people died?
Yeah, when Bobby Wine was imprisoned, his supporter came out with rioting around. So about 54 people died.
They arrested him. Then people started protesting for his release, calling for his release.
Yeah.
Then that's how he went.
So the army, the biggest mistake the army did, if these people are protesting, at least protect them.
Yeah.
But then the biggest army, when the army came out, they had to shoot people directly, live bullets to the people. That's why those other people died. People had to get involved in an accident. When they asked the president, he actually said these people were attacking the army.
That's what they always say, right?
He said that 22 died. It was an accidental. They
he
just died because things
through crossfire. What do you mean crossfire? When
cross something that happens which wasn't an intention to happen. But that's not true. Why do you have to bring live bullets to the people?
I mean, if you have to scare them, you shoot in the hair, right?
Yeah, that's the law.
And if a president doesn't condemn it, that's how you know. If the president is not condemning those acts, if he was really against the soldiers shooting the protesters, don't you think he would have condemned it and then even give orders so that doesn't happen again?
Unfortunately, he just supported them.
If he's supporting them, maybe he's the one giving orders to.
Yeah, the order came from him, but it was not supposed to come from him. Actually, the parliament was supposed to order him to do that.
But it was to shoot people, though.
Intention.
Not shoot people.
I don't think the parliament can allow him to shoot people. They would have said, send there some troops or police things
to calm the situation.
Calm these people. Right. Then you, as the commander in chief, go and calm those people because these are your people you're serving. They're your bosses.
Yeah.
Go and calm them down. But he did his own intention, and right now he's supporting. He says whatever the army did was good because they was trying to fight against the rebels who were attacking Israel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he even kept saying, the strike and the rioters that came they also got defeated.
Yeah.
So, and he always used his words are always so violent. All the time, I'll crush Bobby Wine. All the time, I'll crush this. You see what I'm saying? So when you keep on saying people,
Yeah.
so in the international scene, they are seeing all this. They are looking at it. This is why Bobby Wine is looking for the support from these people.
Yeah.
He just not in the financially, but he's looking that he should be condemned under international community or international court. Like the human rights should also come in and talk about it. Then ICC should come and pick Museveni. Even if he goes out on any airport, he should be caught and be taken to ICC. That's his plan.
So Bobby Wine is reporting Museveni to the international court,
Yes.
saying if you find Museveni in any foreign country, arrest him there.
He should be
and take
arrested
him.
because he has committed a crime on these people.
He has done a lot of
like
human rights violence.
Yeah.
He has,
So recently he was going. I think it was recently after 2 weeks ago. Some of his campaign groups, comrade,
okay.
they were all arrested for no reason. And right now they're saying these people are rebels. So does it make sense? Then there are other people who died too, like one of his bodyguards died the other era, and he was knocked intentionally by the military, the army. They knocked him, and they said that was a crash by accident.
Yeah.
And Museveni has never said anything about it. He still says they are doing the right thing. So he is himself, but I mean, Museveni, he is imposing hatred to his people, but he doesn't know. He thinks he's doing the right thing. That's why when the Americans say if the president rules more than 80 years, he also is likely to become a dictator. Museveni was loved by the people in the first 10 years. But right now,
they're dead of him.
I'm telling you, even the old people whom we think they should love him, my friend, they are turning against him. So there is a problem which he needs to fix. Yes.
Wow. Uganda. 35 years in power. What are you still looking for? You know, I always wonder these presidents, when you stay in power for that long and you still have because it seems like Museveni's agenda is to have a strong military so that no other country intimidates him.
Yeah.
So he's definitely pouring more money in his army and stuff, while people are staying jobless.
Yeah.
So Robert Kyagulanyi, his agenda is to provide rule of law, to provide to bring more jobs. Is it not what their agendas are?
Yeah. So Museveni right now, when you look every year budget, so the national budget they do make, they always give the security department like billions and billions.
A lot of money.
Like a lot of money. And these billions of money are used to buy weapons, equipments, and the President Museveni is always proud of himself. He says Uganda is the only country that knows how to fight in the whole of East Africa.
Do you think he's afraid of rebels to overthrow him like he overthrew some?
Well, we need the security in the country too.
True.
Just in case if there is a conflict that arises, the army are there to defend.
Yeah.
But then you need to balance.
Because I watched the video of him saying the ADFs, which is the name of a rebel group,
Allied Democratic Force.
He said those people are fighting in Congo, but they cannot come here. He said last time they came, they were like 120 and only 13 went back. So he praises his army, which is good to have a strong army. But don't you think he's actually because it seems like there's more unemployment, but more money is going to the army instead of trying to fix these things.
So Bobby Wine came out with like 5 things he wanna change. One of them is the rule of law. That means
bring the rule of law.
The rule of law should work. People should not always depend on a human being, but they should always focus on the laws. 2, he's talking about justice. That's one of the laws. So he's talking about unemployment. He says in his government, he promised the people in his manifesto that he's gonna bring out like over 5 million different jobs including the factory. 2, 4, he talked about returning back the resources that have been exposed to the other different people. You know, Ugandans have lakes. They have different lakes. They have different rivers. They have different mineral resources.
Yeah.
But these mineral resources are being controlled by the white people. And the thing is, they did not sign up any contract with the government officials. They only with the government on behalf of the government, but they only signed up with
Himself.
With the individuals.
Okay.
So
So the Ugandans themselves are not profiting from that.
yeah. So the Ugandans, they would be saying maybe one, they were there is a law in Uganda, the land policy, whereby it says a citizen belongs if you buy your land, it belongs to you. If the resources are found, the government will pay you money, then leave the land, go buy a land somewhere. But now these people, they are not paid. They were never paid. When they discovered gold in some of the areas in
Moved
Uganda,
them, but they didn't pay them.
so they moved them by force by the army, even beating them and shooting some of them because they were rioting.
So Bobby Wine want to
So
restore
Bobby
that.
Wine, he wanna change some stuff where weaknesses are.
Because I watched him say he said Museveni gave some gold and some minerals
yes.
to his wife as a
At the
birthday
contract.
present or something like that.
Yeah, in Karamoja, it's one of the districts in Uganda. There is gold. However, it's one of the poorest and
Districts
in
places.
Uganda so far, because even people living there, they are so primitive, so remote. So at first, when there was still gold, much gold, his wife used to control all the resources in that area. When gold was done, he transferred his wife from the art department to the Ministry of Education.
Wow.
So you see what I'm saying? So he has been doing some stuff and the people are watching what he's doing. For real, people are not happy with him. But I will assure you, just as dictators do play their games, we are waiting for tomorrow. I don't know.
All right. So there's a video of somebody who is one of Bobby Wine's supporters or leader group who lived in diaspora. I'm not sure which country exactly.
Yeah.
So he went back to Uganda
And he was in prison.
and he was violently arrested. So let's take a quick look at his arrest and then we'll continue. Yep, and that's how he was arrested and taken, and up to now they don't know his whereabouts. They don't know where he has been taken. Are you not afraid, as we are discussing right now? Are you not afraid that when you go to Uganda, too, they're gonna do the same thing to you?
Well, I'm not afraid that anything can happen to me because I have no connection and any communication with the Bobby Wine. I don't think that's going to happen to me. So most people are going back, except maybe the government is just targeting those people who have direct linkage with the Bobby Wine. So they think if someone coming from diaspora and has been supporting Bobby Wine on social media platforms or anything, so they think maybe he's carrying some stuff which want to harm the government, I think. But which is not true. They're just giving it as an excuse because these people are coming back to their country. They want to vote for Bobby Wine.
Okay, so in few hours, let's just say some hours from now, Ugandans are voting.
Yeah.
And what do you think is going to happen? Because this is going to be a hard problem. If in case Museveni loses, in case Robert Kyagulanyi is announced the winner, what do you think will be Museveni's reaction, given that his son is controlling the army, right? And then what do you think people's reaction would be if Bobby Wine loses?
So right now, Bobby Wine said if they win, if the election is fair, is free and fair, it's a fair election. Well, we don't know his other plan he has, plan B. But if they rig the election and they announce We don't know his plan B. Everyone says has a plan B. Museveni is silent on what he's gonna do. He hasn't told anyone if he loses the election. But he says recently in the recent
Yeah, I watched him and
interviews,
he said he's gonna.
he said he will give up.
You
He has his own house.
He's
He will
gonna live in my house. Yeah.
But we don't trust him. We know something bad can happen. Yeah, I know. So today, as we speak now, internet has been shut down. in
Yeah,
Uganda.
right?
Yeah.
That's what dictators do. In Congo, the former president of Congo used to do the same thing.
Yeah, internet has been shut down. People who are using social media platform, even if you pay taxes for it, in Uganda we pay taxes for it. The platform has been shut down.
Why is it? Why is it that? Is it because they don't want any interference from outside?
Well, when Bobby Wine was campaigning, he was saying the first thing to protect the vote, number one, after you cast your vote, stay there, don't go. Don't leave the venue. 2, after you cast your vote, make sure you go with your camera. Record everything that is going on. Those who have Facebook, go live. Those who have WhatsApp or anything, just record anything that you see.
Okay, so this is to prevent people from communicating, from posting
Anything.
that can.
So, yes. But the government gave out an excuse. They say people be giving out wrong information. That's why they have shut out internet. And the opposition side is saying, you guys are fearing evidence. Because we know your culture, you always rig the election. So you are fearing the culture.
You're fearing to be exposed.
Yeah, and the thing is, this has brought a bad image on the international scene because Twitter recently they wrote something. They said what Uganda has done, like blocking all the social media platforms, is against human right because these people have right to expose to the rest of the world what is going on. So I think something wrong might happen. Maybe social media, we don't know what they're gonna do, but Twitter has had to tweet on its own account.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, so we're expecting something. So tomorrow we are voting, but internet is down. But they have VPN. I know you have no idea about what VPN is. It's one of the apps made by the German. If you use it, there's the way how you set it in your phone, you never pay tax, and the connection still comes. And most people are
Well, there's
using
different types of VPNs. People use VPN here, so that might just be a different type.
Yeah, I guess so. So the VPN, people are using VPN, and the thing is, one of the something which we never expected to happen is Bobby Wine made an app. It's called the YouVote app.
Okay.
This app is there to protect the vote. There's the way how you record it. He has been teaching people how to use the YouVote on social media platform.
Okay.
He was telling people to download it, then record everything in the app, save everything in the app, still send. It will automatically go to the main. I don't know. They don't know where the app sends the message. They don't know. No one knows.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that could be one of the reasons why the government has shut up the internet down. Right.
Wow. So what do you think then the reaction from the people would be if
the reaction from the people, I
loses?
guess, on either side, both the ruling government and the opposition will not accept. If they win, if the ruling government wins, I don't think the opposition would accept unless some steps are taken. So what I think is there should be some riots. Anything wrong is going to happen. That's why.
But the military has been deployed, right?
The military have been deployed. We don't know. Maybe the opposition are also ways they know what to do. They knew this was going to happen. Maybe they planned for it. So we don't know. And the thing is, today the Ugandans are most of them who are living in the city are now going back to their own countryside. They are living now in a village. They know what's going to happen in the cities now because of this too much militarism, anything. They think anything wrong might happen. So we are just waiting and see tomorrow.
Today, Ugandans are between liberating their country, giving their country freedom, or stay in freedom for I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
Because that's imprisonment in a country where you cannot express your views, the way you want.
Speech, yeah.
Freedom of speech. They tell you can speak this, but you cannot speak this. That's an imprisonment. That's a jail. So Ugandans right now are choosing between freedom and and staying in prison. So let me ask you this question: between a dictator that's developing a country and democracy that might not develop the country as this dictator, what do you choose? Do you choose the dictator because he's developing the country, but there's no freedom of speech, and he kills some people? Or would you choose democracy, even though maybe this democratic president is not giving enough
sometimes
development?
The dictatorship, it depends how you're dictating. Usually some presidents are always harsh on their employees if they are not giving good service to the people.
Okay, this is the type of dictatorship I'm talking about, where opposition are shut down by killing them, by brutality, and no freedom of speech. Would you accept that type of relationship of dictatorship instead?
To be honest, someone who is killing other people because he needs to control the power.
But he's developing the country at the same time.
So what kind of who are you developing then? When you're killing your own people? Yeah, someone who is the country is always developed based on the population, and for you busy killing the population.
Okay, if somebody is developing a country, he's a democratic leader, would you say, well, even if you are ruling good, would you prefer that person to stay in power forever, or would you say, yes, you've ruled good, but you cannot stay in here forever, let somebody else come and rule too?
I don't believe someone should stay in the power because he's doing good, but someone should get out of the power because he has to get out. This one being,
we have millions of people in the country.
If you say stay in the power forever,
be the best, right?
If you say stay in the power forever, he will do the whole mess, because he can do even wrong thing, which will affect you guys, and you will regret why you gave him that power. He will work good today, but tomorrow you will suffer.
Yeah.
So I believe that when you keep on changing the government, I mean the people, you could be in the same ruling party but different presidents. Every president has his own ideas. Let the first president come, do his own ideas, present them to the people. Then when his term ends, let him go. Another one will come, present his ideas, let him go. Another one will come. When we keep on facing this is how America is developing, because they have different leaders who provide different ideologies. So we should not keep on basing on one person who will have to take on his own position all the time.
You cannot be the best person in the country. You cannot be the only smart person or any.
With time you get tired, and when you keep on, when people will start praising you doing this, you become
stubborn,
big-headed, and anything wrong may happen, and you become a problem to the country.
You have pride and
very
good, ladies and gents. We are heading this time. We're about to wrap up, and we'll come back after the election. In Uganda. So, your last words now to the people in 30 seconds, whatever you want to say, and we'll wrap up.
Ladies and gentlemen, especially Ugandans, I wish you good and peaceful elections. So let me guess, tomorrow we are just counting down the hours and time. So tomorrow in the morning, we are starting to vote at exactly 7. Be there, and when you cast your vote, please don't go. Make sure your cameras are on. We need that evidence. Thank you.
They're probably not seeing this since the United is shut down. Ladies and gents, this is the end of this interaction. It's time to wrap up. May God be with us. May God protect us. Before we close, we just hope that in Uganda things will go well. Because if things go bad, there will be riots and people will die. And when people lose lives, it's
and
not
we
good.
have our daughters there. We have maybe our family members over there. So we need a peaceful transition of power. So shout out to all Ugandans.
So this is the end. May God be with us. May God be with Ugandans, and we are still together.